Arrieta.
All right, in this episode we talk about Jake Arrieta.
Does he just do Pilates?
And a pre-game throwing progression.
Porcio, David Ardsma, Stephen Godani here at the Top Lassie hashtag Pitch Tip Show.
This is supposed to be the David Ardsma.
Shut up! Don't listen to this freaking guy. He's trying to hijack my show. This is the Top Lassie. This is hashtag Pitch Tip Show. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Don't hashtag David Ardsma.
Welcome to the David Ardsma.
Don't hashtag him at all. And this is Top Lassie Show. If you have a question, Snapchat guys, we've been big on Snapchat. We've been getting a lot of guys talking to us. It's a great place for you guys to interact with us. David's even getting involved because he's bored.
I'm showing him the questions. Like, people are hitting us
So
up.
hit us up, like the show, or whatever. Add us. David doesn't have a Snapchat
account.
Add us.
Challenge us with questions. If you don't believe in us, perfectly fine. Challenge us. We'll prove to you that we know what we're talking about. At least he knows what he's talking about. And then, but at least challenge us. Make him give you the answer because you know what? I guarantee you he's got it.
Or I have to work my butt off, which I'm willing to do. I'm willing to work my butt off.
When I came here, I made him answer everything. I didn't let him tell me, if you do this, it's going to work. I said, great, prove it. Right. And he had to prove it along the way, and that's why I'm still here, man.
Yes, unfortunately.
I didn't accept anything he said just for what it was.
I know. I should have just kicked his butt and said, listen to me.
Forearms. This will look cool.
All right, cool. So if you have a question, go answer the question. We have a question for today. Here we go. Lock That Leg asks, thoughts on Jake Arrieta and his Pilates. It gives me control of my body to repeat my mechanics.
Anyways, so Lock the Leg. Thank you for the question. Arrieta's Pilates. I'm absolutely up for Pilates. I'm up for yoga. I love that stuff. I think it is awesome to be able to control your body, be able to handle yourself, know exactly where you are, what you're trying to do.
Have you ever done Pilates?
I have done Pilates. I'm not as big into Pilates, but I love yoga. I love it. I think it is in addition to whatever else you're trying to do. That's the key. You can't expect to get out of Pilates that you're going to be in great shape, that you're going to be in pitching shape, and you're going to be Jake Arrieta. You can't expect to go to yoga and expect to walk out of there like this big, strong beast. Arrieta was a beast. He is a beast. He came through the Orioles system, so we know those guys are doing a whole ton of Olympic lifts, and he is a beast. Maybe what he needed was to find his body a little bit better, find that control, because he has always had the stuff. And you just needed to find something that clicked. But I guarantee you that yoga and Pilates are not all he's doing. So maybe it's helping as an addition to whatever he's doing on the side. But man, that boy is strong. That boy is really strong. And we've seen tweets from Chris Archer, who saw him in the weight room, saying that he is an absolute beast in the weight room.
Specifically in the lower half.
Specifically in the lower half. And he said that in the tweet, that he's got he's huge in the lower half, and he creates more velocity because of that. So Pilates, yoga, awesome as an addition to your other work.
But they're also talking how Pilates is getting really popular in Major League Baseball. Are you hearing this?
Absolutely, I'm seeing it.
What are they saying?
With the Jays, we did a ton of yoga stuff. We did some kind of a variation of yoga, Pilates, a lot of breathing activities, but everything that we did was, again, it's a secondary to your other work. If people just walked in there and that's all they're doing, they'd probably kick them out. Because you need to do the other work and supplement the yoga, the Pilates, that stuff to be able to, again, to come back down. It's a great stretch. It's a great stretching activity. It's great for your breathing. It's great to re-centralize you, but at the same time, you need the power, the strength to create the athleticism, to create the velocities that you want to do, and then learn how to control your body.
Because be careful, because I had a story. I don't want to name his name. He's one of my testimonials. It's kind of a hard story because he came to me, obviously very tall kid. I I asked the dad what was the form of training he had been doing. The dad was a cross-country coach in high school, so it was cross-country based. So I told him how that's the total opposite of what we want to do as power athletes. So he said, okay, we want to do your program. So 6 months later, the kid goes from 82 to 92, and then goes into the season we want him getting to 95. And this kid gets drafted, goes to the Phillies, and I kind of lost touch. You know, of course, when guys go into a big league organization, they want to follow their employer. I get it. So I kind of got left out. But I somehow randomly intercepted a email of them telling him that he could no longer do my program, and he was having to do now Pilates training, and they were hooking up with a Pilates coach. Whatever they did, the point is, in 2 months period, he's back to 84 miles an hour. Okay, he comes back down here. We train him for 2 months in the off season. Gets to 92. He didn't want to stay longer. We were killing him. He goes back at 92. Same thing happened. They wouldn't let him do it. You know, I don't know if they pushed him in Pilates, that thing. But the point is like, I think still baseball has that mentality that the Pilates is the better approach, not the lifting, and that you can harmlessly take a kid into something like Pilates, which is the completely opposite of the spectrum to the way we train, and expect him to get better. I mean, so unfortunately, I think you've got to be very careful. And I even say that to Jake Arrieta. I don't know what he's doing. If I heard he was just doing Pilates, I'd be a little concerned, especially if I was the Cubs, who's paying him all that money. I would be very concerned and be very much involved in what he's doing. I don't know.
I highly doubt he's just doing Pilates. You see him on the mound, he's getting better as the season goes on.
You see these thick legs. That's not coming from
thick legs. You
Pilates.
see big, thick upper body. I mean, this guy is a tree up there. He's a huge human being. And let's be honest, let's look at people who only do Pilates, only do yoga. They're usually getting pretty thin. They're trying to work out their body.
You mean they're not jumping 40 inches in the air?
Probably not, unless they just got a natural fast twitch muscle. But you know, this guy's huge. We understand. We know what type of stuff he's done in the past. We know what other people have said, how hard he works, how strong he is.
Let's get it straight. This is Jake Arrieta. I got a lot of respect for him, and I'm sure David does too. I mean, when you think
ton of respect for him, ton of respect for the Cubs program, and whatever they're doing with Arrieta, it's working. We just want, you just want to see that it just continues, and I guarantee you it will.
Yeah, and when I think of Jake Arrieta, I think beast. So I'm thinking like great work ethic, probably a smorgasbord of things.
Well, I know the guys there. I know all the guys. I know a ton of the players that are there. Like, you're telling me Chris Bryant's just doing Pilates?
No way. Right.
You're telling me Rizzo's just doing Pilates? You're telling me, I've been on the field with Lester. I've played with him for a full year.
Yeah,
that boy is a beast. That boy is strong, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of
that guy works his ass off. That is just the bottom line. That guy is a beast in the weight room, and I guarantee you he's not just sitting around doing Pilates.
Right.
Now, he probably is doing Pilates in addition to everything else he's doing.
Right, and I think that's the problem, guys that are watching this, viewers at the amateur level. You typically, unfortunately, you think one thing. So you hear them say Pilates, and then you think, well, that's it. That's the thing. That's just the thing. Is it ever one thing?
It's never one thing.
It's always a bunch of things.
Yeah, if I just sat around and stretched all day, then that's all I'm doing. I'm not ever getting stronger. I'm not actually progressing what I'm doing. But now stretching is a huge part of what I do. Mobility is a huge part, but that's not it. But so you're not just doing one thing. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, I mean, I hear these questions when they're saying like yoga or Pilates. Like this guy's doing Arrieta's doing Pilates, and then you're thinking, okay,
who?
Arrieta. God, everybody mess with me here. Jake Arrieta, okay. Arrieta, okay, whatever his name is. Anyways, he's this big beast of a dude, probably, top 10 easily pitchers in the MLB. Just an absolute freak of an athlete, tree trunk of a leg, everything they're saying, this beast of a man, right? And then people hear that they're doing Pilates and go, okay, I want to go do Pilates because that's what made him into what he is. But when you're really looking at guys that are throwing in the 70s or 80s who just need to develop themselves more as an athlete, and then you see, okay, I'm going to go do Pilates, that's really not going to do anything for you in terms of developing yourself into what he really is, which is a beast of an athlete. So that would be like saying like Bo Jackson, like you're like, yeah, Bo Jackson had a state-of-the-art weight room in his house, and he said he never touched it. And it's like, oh, well then I don't have to lift weights because Bo Jackson never lifted weights. No, that's not the case. He was just a once-in-a-generation athlete who was just genetically gifted. And chances are, if you're looking to gain velocity and you're trying to figure out how to do it, you might not have the athleticism. Like I'm probably guaranteeing you don't have the athleticism that these guys have. And the only way you're going to get that athleticism is by training.
Go kill yourself in the weight room. Go do it right. Go do the right techniques. Go do Olympic lifting. Work on the triple extension. Work your stuff on the mound. Do all the drills that we preach here. And then when you're done and you want a great great mobility session, go do some yoga, go do some Pilates, go breathe it out. That's awesome. It's great. It's a wonderful exercise. Don't forget the core of what's going to get you there, though.
Right. Okay, next question. Dan asks, what is a good throwing progression when warming up? David, go ahead.
Throwing progression when warming up, make it all for yourself. What I do is, the very first throw I do, which I learned here, basically just get your body moving. What do you call it?
External, internal rotation.
External, internal rotation. Basically, it's just to get the arm going for me, get my body so I understand kind of how everything I want to work, the kinetic chain,
Right.
let everything happen, and I'm not just sitting there trying to throw with my arm. I'm letting it lay back, letting it go forward by using my body and not just using my arm. So I do probably 6, 7 of those throws, and then what I do is I generally get back on my back leg. It's a little hard to see, but on my back leg, let my arm get up here. So I'm trying to feel the separation now. Take what I'm doing here, right here.
Shoulders closed.
Drive my legs while trying to keep my shoulders closed, create that separation and let it go. I do those, again, another 5 to 10. And then I progress into basically I call them step throws. We're working on exactly trying to figure out what the best is for me, but that's what I've usually always done, is just step throws and build it up as you go back. I get a couple throws at 120, 90 feet, as long as you can throw it on a line. Keep it on a line, use the power in your legs. Don't just create momentum, create power in your legs, and if you're creating the power in your legs, keep the ball on a line. I try to get out to about 120 and then bring it right back in. But a lot of times if I'm not feeling great, I'll just get to 90 and really just let some go. But keep everything on a line, use your body, think every single throw, every throw you make, have the purpose behind it of using your body, teaching yourself the proper mechanics through every single throw, the proper things we teach here, the triple extension, the drive, the separation in every throw, and then try to hit them right in the chest, and then bring it right back in and work on your off speed.
Yeah, and I know a lot of guys do things for feel in this game, but when you understand it biomechanically like we do, I look at pitching now as like a puzzle. So for me, a good progression to start the day would be identifying all the pieces in the puzzle. And like David's saying, the first piece is just simply how the arm needs to move, which is external, internal rotation, supination, pronation, all right? The good angular movement of the arm. Then the next piece is now close the shoulders, now hit the shoulder separation. Then the next piece is the drive, getting more of the drive, getting more momentum into the movement, and then making it all move up the chain. So basically you identify all the pieces, or you break it up into parts, and then slowly as you get to the mound and you get to a little, where you're facing like an imaginary hitter or whatever you want to do, you're working your pitches. It's like you've put your puzzle together. So I like to start off in each piece and then slowly put the pieces together. And I think that way each day that you pitch, you're not going to be a different person when you get on that game. Because I think when you go off field, you get out there and you're like, wow, I feel like I'm pitching completely different than I pitched last time. Because you probably in your progression put the puzzle together differently that day and you had no understanding. But if you understand each piece, then you can almost put it together the same way every time. So when you walk out on the field, you're doing the same stuff every single time.
I call it routine, man. Build a routine. Start with something. Start with what I just gave you, and then expand from there, or take away from there, and build that routine for yourself. But stick to that routine every single day, so it doesn't matter what field you're on, what game you're at, whether that game means more or it means less. Your same spot right here. Some starters love to throw long toss. Now I'm not a big fan of extreme long toss by any means. But if you feel like you need to get out to really feel that separation, to feel that momentum, really get out and get it on a line though. Don't just go out and just toss it in. It does nothing for you. It changes all your mechanics. Get on a line. Try to throw that ball as low as you can the whole way. And if you can't get it there, move up. If you need to bounce the ball, move forward. It does you no good to bounce it or to keep throwing higher and higher and higher to get it there. It does nothing for you.
Yeah, I would like to see people doing more post-activation, potentiation, PAPS routines before they start their throwing progressions. You see guys when they're warming up, they're doing their static stretching, and they're doing this, and they're doing their arm circles. Sorry about that, big guy. And then they just go into their throwing and long tossing or whatever they're doing. But you rarely ever see guys doing explosive plyometric movements to start waking everything up, start getting the legs firing, and then taking that to the mound. And ideally, you would want to do it with weights beforehand. But a lot of guys don't have weights, so just a dynamic warm-up, really focusing on getting into the legs, double jumps, vertical jumps, and leg drives, stuff like that. Start getting the legs to wake up, because if you go into that cold, like it's like you go here, we have the vertical jump mat, right? You can go into it cold and you do your vertical jump. You might get, for example, a 25-inch vertical jump. Then you go through a PAPS routine, get everything firing. You might come back, hit 28, 29, 30, and that extra power can be huge when you take it to the mound.
Well, what's kind of cool was actually last year, Jason Frazier, big league veteran, we traded for him from Atlanta. We got him from Kansas City. And down the bullpen, we were in Philly, and he started doing some jumps, some vertical jumps. And I'm like, what are you doing? I knew exactly what he was doing, but I wanted him to say it. And he goes, hey, man, I'm trying to fire up all my fast twitch muscle. He goes, I need all of that. He goes, I need everything in my body be activated to be going for me to pitch. And it was remarkable to hear that. I'd never seen somebody do that, but knowing exactly that's pretty much what Brent told me to do down in the bullpen. And he's doing deep squat jumps, and he's doing some really quick fast twitch muscle jumps, just with his toes, with his ankles, and it was pretty impressive to watch.
Yeah, if you look at the Olympic lifting video I did, that's kind of gone viral, and Kevin Schultz and I do like 3 reps of a 80% plus load of an Olympic lift, and then we get on the mound and our ball speeds go up like 3 to 4 or 5 miles an hour just in that session. So check that out, and you'll get it. You'll see right there what PAP does. All right, cool. If you have a question, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, @TopVelocity, #PitchTips, #BaseballTakes, okay, #DavidArdsma, or @TheDA53. Ask your questions. We answer on the show. Come down to 2x3x camp. See you at the next episode.
Yeah.